Well, it's getting close to time for Palantir's earnings, and with the market in chaos and conflicting data basically everywhere, Palantir's earnings are critical to see where Alex and team see the stock going over the next year. We must get down to the bottom of what is going to happen on these earnings and what will the stock do if Alex bangs the table again or something else like that. Actually, I kind of hope that he does, so the irrational freakout to sell a stock based on something that I've never heard of anyone selling a stock before actually happens, so we can get a great stock on a significant discount like we did before when that happened. So let's talk about exactly what I see happening and the 3 things I'm watching for specifically with his earnings and my exact plan to get through all of it. I just ask in exchange for you to gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. All right, so this earnings season has once again been nothing short of extraordinary like it normally is. I mean, you got mega caps moving wildly like they're small caps, but the market is back to basically last year's move and the year before's move of rewarding great earnings with beatdowns. And just look at Google and Microsoft for prime examples this quarter where they just had phenomenal earnings and Wall Street just beat them down afterwards. Earnings season is usually wild and doesn't make a lot of sense. I agree completely. And that has held true to form once again. And it's why I just buy according to my plan and avoid all the craziness around earnings, because a stock is never more manipulated than around earnings calls. That's the truth, guys. Which we've actually been discussing earnings of specific companies daily, listening to calls together in real time, breaking them down in real time, and a ton more in my group where monthly memberships are going away. So make sure you take advantage of the Valentine's Day sale and grab your spot before those monthly memberships are gone. Now don't worry, current monthly members and new signups can stay monthly members as long as they want. But once they're gone, there won't be any new monthly signups. There will only be annual memberships available after that for some time. And I'm doing this basically because the stock market mastery course revamp is almost complete, and it is 3 times larger and so much better than the prior course. So make sure you get your spot and take advantage of the Valentine's Day sale before the monthly memberships disappear. All right, back on track here. Palantir stock is just different from most other stocks in the stock markets. And there's kind of this constant battle on this stock. I mean, is it a future $1 trillion company? Or is it just trash and another stock destined to be bankrupt in a few years? I mean, seriously, people see it as another stock Wall Street will be late to, or it's completely overhyped garbage doomed to fail. I mean, that kind of seems to be the 2 things. It's kind of like Tesla is still to this day. Now, maybe not as extreme on the bear or the bull side, but Palantir clearly falls into that category of I get it and it's going to be big one day, or I don't get it and it's overpriced hype like many stocks popular on YouTube have been over the past few years. Unfortunately, I think Palantir's earnings will once again give both sides more talking points that will bolster their positions, which means it will essentially remain extremely divided for now. But comment down below and let me know where you stand on Palantir stock. Let me know your opinion. Now, I think Palantir has a small beat on revenue and also puts up a small beat on EPS and increases free cash flow once again. And for those of you that don't kind of understand the structure on how they report and the intricacies of their financials, that number is the one to watch based upon how they do their accounting. And that's free cash flow. That's the one that you kind of want to keep your eye on. So here are the 3 things that I'm watching in this earnings call for Palantir stock. The first is the guidance on new contracts. They had several new contracts that were announced this quarter. And once again, the lag in government contract payouts, which is normal for the government. Shocking, I know. But that is obviously going to impact the bottom line as well. But in terms of contracts, they had several large contracts renewed, which proves that the business model is sticky. And at this stage, it will be very hard for customers, especially governments, to switch vendors if they wanted to. And guys, just don't even get me started on the commercial versus government side of the business and all that nonsense. I have no idea what the mix will look like, and I don't care either if I'm being perfectly honest. Literally, every Palantir earnings call, there are complaints about that. I mean, government grows, and we'd like to see more commercial growth. And then you see more commercial growth grows, and well, now we don't see the government isn't growing at the same pace, so now that is a problem. Cure cancer, and I'm sure there will be someone with a problem out there with it. To me, as long as they guide to more growth in the number of contracts, I'm not going to put too much stock into whether it's commercial or growth or commercial or government or whatever. I want growth overall, and that is what I'm looking at. The second thing I am looking for is the overall growth rate for 2024. This is kind of the one thing I can say is a fair complaint from the bears in regards to Palantir. And although the growth has been good, it has not been great and has not lived up to the numbers Alex has put out there. So basically, if we get 20% or lower, That won't move the stock any and may actually send the stock down, although it's kind of been, trading down into earnings here. So we might not see a complete crater, but we need to be closer to that 30% number, 26, 27, 28, 29% to get Wall Street excited and to get the stock moving on up to its next leg up. So that guidance will be key to if Wall Street gets behind the stock or not. And the third thing I'm looking at is, will management execute on share buybacks or not? Wall Street likes share buybacks. Like it or not, that's what they like. And Palantir already has authorization to do it. So the question becomes if they are planning to do some buybacks this year, and why or why not they're going to do it, because there are goods and bads with buybacks. So regardless of the answer, the explanation will actually tip the hand as to where Palantir thinks it's going over the next year or two. If they say, yes, we're buying back shares because we believe this price will be cheap in a year's time or 2 years' time, then they expect big numbers, even if they don't guide to it. That's kind of what they're hinting at when they say something like that. And they can also say no to buybacks altogether, but they say that because they feel like they can make a lot more money putting that money to work in other opportunities. And that again is a bullish sign from management. So I will be listening for that and see what clues we can glean from those answers. The bottom line is there is nothing coming from this earnings that will either prove the bears or the bulls completely right with this stock, unfortunately. However, Alex and the management team over there are not trying to win the battle today, and honestly, they're not even concerned with any of this, if we're being honest. I mean, if you did your due diligence on this management team, you know that is not where their focus lies. So you cannot expect huge, incredible earnings calls if they're not kind of gearing the business towards that in the first place. So what am I doing personally? All right, well, let me be clear and upfront with this fact before we even get started. You cannot time the market. Nobody can time the market. I'm still seeing the sell and take your gains and go all cash on YouTube, or everybody making 37 different price predictions on stocks. And I have no idea how anybody can keep up with any of it. It's just utterly ridiculous out there. And just because they sell today and it goes lower tomorrow does not mean it was a good move unless you bought that next lower move down, which if you did that, it will probably go lower than that in the short term. And you're still losing, except now you incurred a tax bill if you sold for a gain, and you're essentially now a long-term investor trying to day trade or swing trade, and that never works out over the long run. So don't get caught in that trap. If you are a long-term investor, what happens tomorrow is not really your concern, since nobody knows what will happen with any degree of accuracy. So what's the point in making any sort of short-term price predictions? I mean, if Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, and all the greats say you can't do it, why would I even bother with it either? I mean, I'm just not going to do it, and I don't think you guys should get out there and try to guess that sort of stuff too. So that means, to me, if you're worried about what Palantir will do tomorrow, or finding the bottom, or guessing stock price movements based on what the Fed says, or buying and selling based upon all these different indicators or anything else like that, then you're short-term speculating or trying to time the market. You can phrase it however you want, but that is what you are doing, and nobody can do it over the long run with any accuracy. But, hey, good luck if you guys want to give it a try out there. It's just not for me, and it's not something I recommend. And this is also why having your plan set before the earnings is key. And I know you guys hate that I say it, but planning and having price targets is key to investing. So I'm simply sitting back and watching the numbers and then watching what Wall Street does. If the earnings are good, but people freak out because Alex tapped the table 4 times in 5 seconds and cut off an analyst and then flipped his hair like 3 times, so that means Palantir is doomed and just a terrible company, then I probably will absolutely be a buyer, and I have cash ready to deploy because I don't care about the short-term price action. I care about how the business is performing. What, suddenly the price goes down because Alex flips his hair and Palantir isn't performing as a business and is just a terrible company? I mean, every single stock at times gets decoupled from the underlying fundamentals of the company, and those are some of the best times to buy those stocks. Wall Street wants to give me Palantir on a significant discount. I'll happily take it. Holding and looking to add at your price target when short-term issues arise, like an earnings call that is great, but the stock sells off anyways, is the perfect time I like to add. So make sure you have your price targets ready so you can execute if they hit, and make sure you take advantage of the Valentine's Day sale too and get your monthly membership before they go away if you want to take the completely revamped course whenever it comes out and see my buy and sell alerts in real time, see my complete watch list with price targets, be able to use our stock analyzer tool for free, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there, and we have so much more coming, guys. Make sure you check out the pinned comment, take advantage of the sale before it goes away. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.